All right, today we're going to do something a little different. Instead of looking at some huge research paper, we're going to zoom way in on something much smaller, but just as powerful, the public blog of a brand new local business. So let's dive into this and see what a small kitchen in Punjab, India can teach all of us about building a brand from the heart. I want you to think about this for a second. What is it that really makes a meal feel like home for you? Is it a specific ingredient, a certain recipe, or is it the story behind it, the care that you know went into making it? That feeling, that's at the core of what we're exploring today. It's an emotional connection, right? But what's really cool is, as we're about to see, it's also a killer business strategy. Okay, so before we jump in and meet our case study, we need to get one term straight. The business we're looking at is a cloud kitchen. Now, this is so important because without a physical storefront or a dining room, their entire brand, their whole connection to their customers, has to be built online. They can't rely on foot traffic or charming decor. They have to rely on one thing: trust. All right, so let's meet them. This is the Golden Kitchen, a small delivery-only venture in Phagwara, Punjab. And looking at their blog, you immediately start to wonder, in a market that is just packed with food options, how does a totally new, local kitchen build a loyal following right out of the gate? Well, their whole strategy doesn't start with flashy marketing or big ad spends. Nope. It starts with the foundation of super clear, super simple promises. Before they even talk about what's on the menu, they tell you exactly who they are and what they stand for. And here it is, pulled right from their blog. I mean, just listen to the simplicity there. This isn't some stuffy corporate mission statement, you know? It's a feeling, it's a direct promise of an experience. And that simple idea, it sets the tone for everything that follows. And they don't just leave it at that feeling, right? They back it up with these really specific promises. Let's break them down because each one is so smart. Pure vegetarian. Bam. Right away, they've defined their niche and are talking to a specific audience. Fresh on order. That's a direct promise of quality, signaling that your meal is being made just for you. Strict hygiene standards. I mean, for a cloud kitchen, this is absolutely non-negotiable. It builds that essential trust. And finally, authentic home-style cooking. Well, that brings it all right back home to that core feeling. Okay, so they've got their values down. But how do you prove that stuff, right? Well, not with ads. They do it by turning their blog into a public daily journal. Think about that. They're not just selling food, they're documenting their journey and they're inviting all of us to come along for the ride. And this just shows their commitment so perfectly. Just look at the timeline here. Day 3, Day 6, Day 9, Day 11. They are showing up every single day. This isn't some random promotion they run once in a while. It's like a living diary of their kitchen, building a story and a relationship with their audience, day by day. Let's zoom in on Day 6 for a sec. They call it a healthy chilla experiment. Now, why is this so cool? They're not just showing you this perfect finished plate of food. They're sharing the process. That kind of transparency, it's magnetic. It shows they're real people, you know? They're trying things, they're learning, and they're sharing that whole messy experience with you. It just feels so honest. And then, fast forward to Day 11, and you see the direct payoff of that core philosophy we talked about. This post, it just perfectly captures that promise of simple, comforting, and homely meals. See, they're not just saying it anymore, they're showing it, meal after meal, proving that their promise is real. So here's the really crucial point. This daily journal, it does way more than just announce the menu for the day. It completely transforms the relationship. Suddenly, you're not just a customer placing an order, you're checking in with this local spot that you feel like you actually know. And you might think, oh, that's just a happy accident. But it's not. We know it's intentional because they tell us themselves, right in a blog post title. It's not a coincidence. Building a community is a stated goal. They see themselves as way more than a kitchen. They're a hub for stories and connection. And what this all does is build a fundamentally different kind of business. You know, on one hand, you've got your purely transactional model. It's kind of like a vending machine, right? It's anonymous. It's just about the sale. But on the other side, you have a community model. That's more like your local farmer's market, where you know the owner by name. The Golden Kitchen is building that second kind of business, one that talks with its members, focuses on connection, and lets the sales follow naturally. So, what can we all take away from this? Well, it turns out the Golden Kitchen has pretty much given us a simple, powerful recipe for building an authentic local brand that, honestly, anyone could follow. So here it is, the 3 key ingredients. First, define your core values. You have to know exactly what you promise, like homely meals. Second, document the process. Don't just show the polished final product, show the journey, like their Chilla experiment. And third, speak authentically. Use a real human voice. Turn your updates into a conversation, not a corporate broadcast. And when you really think about it, every single step in that recipe, it all boils down to this one single idea. The whole strategy, the daily posts, sharing their experiments, those simple promises, it's all designed to build trust by being radically transparent. They're earning their customers' loyalty, not just trying to buy it with ads. And that really leaves us with a final thought to chew on. In a world that's just dominated by these massive global chains, maybe the strongest brand connection we can have isn't with the biggest company. Maybe, just maybe, it's with the one that feels like a neighbor, the one who shares their story with you every single day.